Welcome to the Coaching Podcast with your hosts Emma Doyle and Simon Blair, coach for success in sport and business.
G'day everybody and welcome to the Coaching Podcast. My name's Emma Doyle and I'm here with Mark Jeffery, a man who's recently come into my life and it is an absolute blessing. He is a legend, a total game changer in the world of all things to do with identity, sport, tennis, etc., etc. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Mark, the first question is actually the Vegemite question. You either love it or you hate it or you haven't tried it. What's your take?
I'm a Marmite person, but I would love Vegemite.
Fantastic. So because you answered that way, the follow-up question is, could you share a coaching moment that went really, really well? And what are some of the lessons?
So one of our live camps, yes. Okay, so here's a great coaching moment of somebody, 14-year-old, that's been well coached and wasn't able to win matches and came to one of our camps and only sat in for an hour, went and did some matches the next day, won 2 matches on the trot and came back and spoke to our assembled crowd to say, the training works, jolly good. Because it's about winning matches, not being better. So that was pleasing.
Yeah, fantastic. Can you share one little insight that he said that was the difference that made the difference?
Having a plan, which then had a 2-shot combination to execute the plan, and knowing what the plan was, whether you were serving or return of serving, before the point started.
Thank you. And on the flip side of that, for your worst coaching moment, and what might be the lessons?
My very first training camp for big point player, and we do singles and doubles. The doubles has been stripped down to simplicity. Just do this, forget they did this. And I had on my course somebody that had been through alternative doubles, which in my world is complicated. I look at this, and if they do this and you move there and get back and forth, and he berated my simplicity, and I was so taken aback. It took me 2 days to think, that's what I should have said. So that stuck with me for a few years now, and it was my very first one. So didn't own the court, not necessarily confident of my material and the results it got, and I got poleaxed.
I'm sure people can relate to that story. Yeah, it's so important, isn't it? Once you're content and you're really sure of your content, it's even the way it comes across is different, isn't it?
Yes, and own the court. You know, it's
yeah
massive to own the court, and I didn't. It's like, can I? Oh, how embarrassing! I'm all blushing right now.
You know that we love Brené Brown, so vulnerability is all about the podcast is all about vulnerability. All right, okay. The next question is called the sliding doors question.
I've had many forks in the road along my journey. Invariably, choose left, choose right. I would choose the wrong one, as it happens. If I had my time again, sliding doors, I would love to be in the world of investment banking, as it happens, because I love having a vision and a narrative and getting people excited and connecting disconnected dots. And that seems to be what they do. And I had a perfect opportunity to do it at Barclays Bank before the banks became the huge things they were. My mate was kind of running it. And I could easily have said, hey, Jim, give us a job, mate. And he would have gone, yes, what do you want? But I was so stuck in my event management and sponsorship, I stayed and missed the boat.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay. And what about even the work that you're doing now? Was there a moment, like how did that even come about with the Winning Summit?
Okay, well, Winning Summit came out of lockdown. So many great things came out of lockdown. And it was just, okay, Emma Doyle, this is a perceptive question. So when I came out of semi-retirement, my mission at the time was, wouldn't it be amazing if tennis people could subliminally become the best version of themselves by training to compete and improving their craft of competition? That was like, yeah, why not? And that it was set off by watching Wimbledon and people saying, you know, pressure is bad and they're a big point player and nobody's saying, here's how you can train to become one. So that set me off on, well, I can use my military experience and my big fish, small pond army tennis champion experience to create military live or die, no action replay into tennis, win or lose, many action replays. Must be very easy. I could get it cracked in 4 months, 4 years it took me. So in that journey of, well, what is the difference that makes the difference between a narrow loss and a narrow win? What is it exactly? And how do you train it? That then was the impetus to the Winning Summit.
Yeah.
And the first one by accident was all about identity, of which we argued movement and ball striking is your entrance ticket to the privilege of pressure and uncertainty in big moments, but identity is your exit ticket. So that was the first one. And the second one has just been expanded.
Right. So I would love to chat to you a little bit more at the end of the interview, if I may, about Winning Summit 2.0, because I'm all about the Winning Summit and I'm all about everything that you do. So we'll jump into the next question. In 1 to a maximum of 3 words, what do you think makes a great coach?
Great coach. Love, passion, and accountability.
Love, passion, and accountability. You heard it on the podcast from Mark Jeffery. And finally, our last question is where we ask you to ask us a question. So what sparks Mark Jeffrey's curiosity?
How have you become who you are and what you're doing? I love to know people's journeys. Was it planned? Was it accidental? Was there a fork in the road? Did something happen to you? Did you happen to something? I love people's backstories.
Yeah, so do I. And I think that was our first ever conversation, even though you only give me 15 minutes. But anyway, I think I passed the test. That concludes the official podcast interview. Mark Jeffery, thank you so much for being on the show. And if you have a few more minutes, do you mind if we could talk about Winning Summit 2.0?
Love, 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 love. It's my button.
Yeah. All right. So, just a quick backstory for the listeners out there. Winning Summit has been a really positive influence in my life. So just to share some of the connections that I've had, some of the amazing guests that I've been able to bring onto the podcast is because of the community that you have created. So so I just wanted to thank you for that, because you can't underestimate the value of belonging and community as it relates to improvement, continual improvement. So I just wanted to thank you for that, Mark. And I didn't even know how you got onto me. So maybe that'd be part 1 of my question. How did you find out about me? And then part 2 of the question is just simply, could you tell our listeners what is Winning Summit?
Normally people refer me to others because I cold calls obviously are not efficient. So somebody would have recommended me to speak to you. And I don't know who that somebody is actually, but it was a joy. And it's strange how we have, got on so well, actually. So that's that. Winning Summit is up for 3 things. 1, for the players to give them 1 or more transformational, and I use that word advisedly, tips or tactics or drill or identity that can make them to start winning against their peer group pretty quickly. So we're into transformation, which means instant rather than change, which is incremental. And it's not that people necessarily like this, but it's all about training to beat rather than be better and improvement. So yes, people obviously get better and they improve and they win by being better, but wouldn't it be amazing if you won by having a skill of beating? Love it. The second thing is, yes, we love our big fat W's and our victories. Yes, we do. But the bigger joy is our personal development journey along the way, which fits us for life and relationships, and particularly living with machines world. And the third thing that we get out of it is with parents. So until I started this, I had no idea of what is obvious, which is how can parents be trained to be winning parents and be the best they can with their competitive offspring. I look back at my horrors as, I did my best with no guidance. And it's like, of course you need guidance and training. So those are the three things that we're about.
Yeah. And I think even on parents, it's still one of those concepts that a lot of coaches I hear say, the parents just need to stay out of the way. And let's be honest, they spend 85, 90% of their time with their child. So you can impact your 2 lessons a week or your 3 squads a week and a couple of privates. But at the end of the day, they're still spending 80 to 90% of their time at home in that home environment. What's being reinforced. I really love that. So Winning Summit, Mark, has 4 days. So what are the 4 days?
So it's from the 17th to 20th of September. First day is the winning player, where we haven't got it all cracked yet. This is work in progress, but we're basically unpacking the hard skills and the human skills of people like Ash Bartley and Novak Djokovic, and allowing people to be trained in them so they can pick up those skills. Second day is about the winning person. This is all about identity. There are identities, of course, in the winning player. Hunger, obsessiveness, integrity, resilience, belief. But there are other things in the winning person. And as part of the winning person, and you're part of it, bless you, is an emphasis with a clinical psychologist that has the research and the studies, and the panelists that bring their practical lens, which is how do you train positive mental health when you're constantly in the space of training and playing, of uncertainty and pressure, and handling big moments, which come with all those chemicals flooding through your body. And if you win, you get the winner's high. And if you lose, you get the loser's, remorse and depression. There is bound to be an impact. And our view is it's an epidemic out there that's quite silent right now, both for the non-elite and the elite. So we've got all that packaged into winning person. Third day, we have 15 they're all extraordinary speakers, but these are extraordinary speakers in the winning parent day, most of whom have authored or TED talked or large podcast or large Facebook groups. So we have that. And then the fourth day is the real secret reason of the Winning Summit. It's called Winning with Machines. And the view is that if you have tennis in your CV, and if you know yourself, my name is winner, then you're really well equipped for this turbulent, exponentially changing world that we are in right now. So those are all the 4 days and the reasons why.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about the last day. I think it's a fascinating concept when you first planted the seed in my mind around the fact that the revolution in tennis is coming, and we have to be aware that how do we embrace technology and how do we embrace, of course, my word, I have to throw it in there, our curiosity muscle, because if we don't embrace the two and find the balance, we will be made redundant. Make no mistake about it. Mark Jeffery has convinced me of that in the last year and a half that we've known each other. But I see it now all the time. I see this quite often in the coaching world, a lack of curiosity, in the players, a lack of curiosity. And if we miss those moments, we're so busy just chasing time, or we're so busy just being told what to do, and people are just giving us the answers, that we're going to miss the boat. And I think, tennis, as you know, it reveals our character. It's a problem-solving game. So the skills of curiosity in the corporate world, to be able to problem solve, it's the same thing to get it, your ROI equals IOR, improvement on relationships. And there's no doubt that the latest research is suggesting that curiosity is one of the keys, one of the social glues for people to better understand each other. And so I'm really excited to bring curiosity. I brought it to Winning Summit 1.0, realized I was only scratching the surface for our dream seekers out there. And now at 2.0, don't reinvent the wheel, Mark Jeffery said to me. Emma, you're owning curiosity. So keep peeling back the layers of the onion, which I love doing. I love brainstorming around it. So thank you for that. And thank you for opening my eyes to this revolution that's coming. Do you want to say anything more about that?
Only that I hear and see in your face that you now own curiosity. It was a work in progress, and obviously it's an ongoing work in progress. But as you say, without curiosity and innovation, then you're stuck in the present and the train will come and run you over. And I know for me, listening to you, I become more and more curious. So the amount of books I read, podcasts I listen to, extraordinary people like you that I engage with, my curiosity muscle is so worked now. And I just think, well, Mark, wouldn't it be great if you had curious when you should have been curious at university and then beyond? But I was curious about different things then. So how about that?
Yeah. And as you know, my story, I really, reflecting on my own journey, which I think is so important to do as a coach, I definitely feel like I lost my ability to be curious there for a while. You know, as a coach, we have this amazing opportunity to grant permission, don't we? Like to actually say to a student or a client, granting them permission rather than, have you ever heard of a player say, I don't know? When you ask a question, they go, I don't know. And just the simple phrase, go curious, the action word of go. Okay, go curious. What is it that you don't know? That was a small insight and a small promo, by the way, of what's coming in store for what I've been working on with my presentation. I thought I'd throw that. Mark, I knew Mark would appreciate that. We'd love to invite all of the coaching podcast listeners to Winning Summit 2.0, September 17 to 20. Is that correct?
September the 17th to 20th. And it would be earlybird.winningsummit.com is the early bird register. And if you're on the register, when we open the doors, every single speaker, there are 60 of them, they're all amazing, can be watched for free.
There you go. And if you're
including
not on
you, Emma Doyle.
If you're not on that list, then of course there would be a small fee. So you might as well just get on the list. List.
Correct.
It doesn't mean you have to attend every single one, of course. You can pick and choose like a menu, can't you?
Correct. It's free to be on the list, and you can even choose, I won't attend any at all. So you've lost nothing because it's been free.
Yeah.
But you might look at all and go, right, there are a few that are just amazing, and that word really resonates. I'm going to be on there. Like curiosity, for instance.
Well, on that note, Mark, you know, I know we could speak another hour and a half about your journey and, you know, your background but just, I think you've shared enough insight today for people to be curious and want to learn more about what you're doing, the community that you're creating, and how to win both in life, on and off the court. So important. So
awesome.
Thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
The Coaching Podcast was brought to you by Emma Doyle and Simon Blair.